What's up, conscious creators? Alex here, and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you how to overcome an inferiority complex, how to stop feeling inferior to others, because nobody wants that, do they? It's suffering, unnecessary suffering. I know because I've been through it before. So this isn't going to be some temporary fix. We're going to get to the root of the problem so you can understand the dysfunction and learn how to transcend it forever. But of course, just before we get into it, a few more slots have opened up for the free one-to-one with me to see if you'd be a good fit for the Consciousness Revolution program over at speaktoalex.com. Wait till the end of the video for the full announcement. But without further ado, let's get straight into it. So, the most effective way of overcoming an inferiority complex or feeling inferior to others is to understand what it truly is. What it truly is in our experience. Because if you can understand that, then you can understand how to transcend it. Feeling inferior to others is identification with the thinking mind. Identification with a sense of self in thinking in your head that tells a certain story about your life, in this case, a story where you're inferior to others. And these thoughts were put there by everything you've ever been exposed to. You're a remix of what you've been exposed to, right? Your parental influences, what your parents said to you, what your peers said to you, what you read in magazines, what you saw on TV. All of these thoughts are made up out of all of these messages that you've heard about how other people think about themselves and seems to inform how you think about yourself. These thoughts are rising in your mind about yourself and how you compare to others, how you measure up. And what you're specifically thinking in that area is influenced by a few different factors. Maybe the feelings, the current sensations in your body, the current emotional state. If you're not feeling as good, you're going to have these corresponding thoughts in your mind where you judge yourself to not be good. Maybe you're not good enough. Maybe you're not worthy. Maybe you're not deserving. Maybe you're not beautiful enough. Maybe you haven't improved enough. This is a big thing in the self-help world. People get kind of addicted to it and they get ruined by it. Not to say self-help's bad, but when you depend on it for your self-image, this image of yourself where you've always got to be improving, otherwise you can't be at peace, then that is inherently dysfunctional. And it's inherently dysfunctional if you've got thoughts in your mind that compare yourself to others and you always come out on bottom. So you have to start breaking this unconscious identification to thinking. You have to understand that thoughts appear within you, but are not who you essentially are. You have to understand through your experience, not through me trying to get you to believe anything. I'm not trying to get you to believe anything. I'm asking you to check out in your experience, what is this self-image really made of? And is it who you truly are? You're unconsciously identifying with the narrative in your mind about who you are. And I know this because I've done it before. I know this because it's very alluring. It's almost slightly magnetic in a way. It's tempting to contract your attention down onto this thought about yourself, especially when it corresponds to some kind of uncomfortable sensation in the body that we might label anxiety or nervousness or jitteriness, or whatever other sour feeling that we experience in our body. We could be thinking these corresponding thoughts that judge ourselves to be bad, and this unconscious identification with them, then we see our life through that filter. So it's time to zoom out. It's time to realize that this self-image arises within your awareness. It's popping up and you're just unconsciously identifying with it. You've got to see that you're this like aware spaciousness that you are. And this self-image arises within it, but you don't have to identify with it. You can say, look, this thought's coming into my awareness, and at some point it's going to change into something else. The story is that the thought isn't going to last forever. It's not just going to go around on loop. It might just keep resurfacing, but it keeps resurfacing because you keep identifying with it. When you become the observer of the thought, when you notice yourself as the awareness as opposed to the thought, you can start to break that identification by noticing yourself as the one who watches it, not as the thought itself. And then you can watch the thought do its thing. And it may resurface a few times, and it may be tempting to identify with it because of this corresponding emotion, but just stay with the feeling and just stay aware. When something triggers you, perhaps some encounter with someone where you would usually start feeling this inferiority complex, maybe it's at work. For me, it was like pedestaling women. It's embarrassing to say in a way, but I used to pedestal women a lot. I used to always think that they're better than me in some kind of way. And obviously it makes you needy and it makes the relationships dysfunctional, Doesn't make you very desirable because you're lost in a mind-made image about yourself, and you don't need to do that. You can zoom out, relax your attention out, and realize that your true, deeper self knows better. Once you just notice yourself as the awareness and not as these contracted stories about yourself where you're trying to make yourself smaller and shrinking down, your true self knows. It knows this. It knows what you really need to do. It knows how to truly be authentic. It's not seeing yourself as this kind of separate self-entity that needs defending and protecting and needs adding on to and to be more in order for you to feel okay with yourself. Because you're dependent on an image in your mind about who you apparently are. It's like becoming a blank slate, becoming an empty slate. Zoom out. Be the awareness that you essentially are and act from there. And forgive yourself when you slip back into it every so often. It's going to happen probably initially after you get this realization. But stick with it and make your home as the awareness. And gradually the dependence on that self-image will fall away. Gradually you'll burn through the feelings that are there. You've got to step into that discomfort, but the peace that you want's on the other side. So I hope this video helped. If you want to take this deeper, I help people one-on-one with low self-esteem and low confidence, and I can probably take on a couple more new clients this month. So if you want to inquire about that and just have a quick chat about whether or not I can help you with your problems, then head over to speaktoalex.com and book a time for us to speak. But without further ado, we're going to end the video there. Like if you liked it, subscribe, please hit the notifications bell if you want. Obviously if you don't, then don't, but peace.